Alright guys, this is the second episode of the David and Darryl show. First episode went off, we're overwhelmed with the support that we've got. We never dreamed that we would get the support that we did from the community, but it definitely exceeded our expectations. There's a lot, we've had tons of feedback from the community, tons from the parents like we asked, and we've actually had 6 college coaches message us just this week, get a hold of us and say that they would be watching this show and keep an eye on the page to get info on the kids in this area. But I think the support that we got from the first week, I think it was crazy, don't you?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And just personally talking with coaches and stuff like that, they normally, like they said, they don't get to see this part of this side of the state or get to always come down to this area where we live at. So that's the big reason for this show. It's to spotlight our local kids, boys and girls, and get them out to so they can see, so the colleges can actually see them. And that take a lot of pressure off some of the coaches and the media around here, which we don't have very much.
Yes, I was talking, actually today one of the coaches said that it makes their job 10 times easier, so they don't have to spend the time traveling to see an 8th or 9th grader, because we're giving them the info and bringing it to them. So, it's unbelievable, how y'all have helped this grow, and it just shows that everybody in this area is hungry.
Yes.
For their kids to get a spotlight shined on them. There's so many kids that missed out just because they didn't have something like this. And, we're willing to put in the work, and we just need y'all to keep supporting us, spread the word, and, so hopefully, this show gets a little better than the last one. Y'all like it a lot better, but the coming up this month, did you see that, that Obama's going out of office. We got the inauguration coming up. Did you get a chance to see Trump's press conference today?
I saw a glimpse of it on Facebook, and I saw him talking to a reporter. He wouldn't answer his question on there. I guess he was doing some false media and stuff, and it got a little heated at the moment, but I didn't see very much of it.
Yeah, he pretty much shortened it up. He was bashing the media, CNN, and I forgot the other media coverages, but all the ones that hasn't covered him right, he was bashing, talking about the false media, refused to answer, and it was a must-watch. But we're very excited about it here, in the Cofields, because with Trump getting elected, that's what gave us hope in this area, and we never dreamed that our area would reach these lows, and with the war on coal, it's got like that. So the inauguration, everybody's ready for it, and I think with Trump complaining about the media, I think it also brought the Obama fans together, because Obama was also a couple weeks ago talking about the false media.
Right.
So I gave a little bit of
if you think about it, Obama got attacked the same way Trump did in some cases through the media and stuff. And even though I don't agree with everything Obama did in office, which attacked personally my hometown, he made history, and he was in there 8 years, and the people voted for him, so that was our president. But now everybody gonna have to back Trump. Personally, I was a Trump supporter.
Yep.
I'm not gonna go against my family and my area and support somebody that didn't support my area.
So, no, because the Bible says, take care of thy brother and thy neighbor. And, whether you was for Trump or not, that's the best for this area, because we've seen way too many out of jobs. But
even though I didn't agree with everything, his politics or whatnot, or agree with some of the stuff that he done or whatnot or whatever, I supported how he supported West Virginia and Eastern Kentucky.
And I also seen that the taxes are going to be delayed this year. And, something I always thought of with taxes is, and you may be able to I mean, you may agree with this. Ladies, if you meet your man during tax time, don't count on that being a keeper, because every man's a baller when it's tax time. 2 months later, after Valentine's Day, how many breakups have you seen? Everybody, when they get their taxes, all these people around here, they all go buy the cars, and all these girls is like, I got me one, and then 2 months later, here they are, no money at all, and but it's going to be a little later this year for the ballers to come out. Yeah, the baller alerts. So, ladies, it'll be March probably before you get your man this year. But there was a lot of basketball played in the area last night. Did you see Tug Valley in Mingo Central's run?
Oh yeah, I actually listened to it on the radio, and I saw a glimpse of at the end of it, and it was a good game, and it's tough to go down to Tug Valley to play. Tough, very tough.
If Tug Valley can't beat you, the rest will. So, but they ended the 6-0 streak that the Miners was on, and actually, I figured that the Miners, it would be next week when they played Johnson Central. I figured that too would end it.
Down. That's the game I'm looking forward to going to. I'm definitely looking forward to going to that game. Johnson Central bringing some top-notch guys and stuff, and I like to see how they compare to Mingo Central.
Yeah, Johnson Central, they've owned the region for the last 15 years, But right down the road, there was some more ball. The number one scorer in the nation was playing at Belfry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I caught that. I was going on Logan Copley's Facebook and looking up updates and stuff, and I seen one where it had Belfry up at halftime, and then I clicked back on it, and they won.
It
my
surprised
goodness.
me. Everything I'd heard though about Lawrence County, I've not got a chance to watch them this year, but I heard that the Dalton kid was pretty much all that they had, and which he's averaging 37 and 0.9 points a game and 10 boards, and he's shooting 65% from the field. So, I figured Belfry was in for a tough test last night, but it surprised me that they pulled out the win, and that put the Pirates 6-6 on the season. So. That was a huge win for Coach Thompson up there. Them games right there, both of them was rivalry games. And something I wanted to talk about was the basketball. It's not what it used to be. In the early 90s, this was a hub, for talent. Everybody knew who Williamson was, and in this area here, it was some of the best basketball, in the nation played in this area. So, but what destroyed that was Mingo Central. Now, Mingo Central combined Maple and Birch, Gilbert
and Williamson.
Yeah. Every one of them four there was rivals. So,
big time.
Yeah, that right there, I think that had a lot to do with destroying basketball for a little bit in this area. But the rivalries are starting to come back, and I think last night, the Tug Valley Mingo, that was
I think that game is the Battle of Mingo County, which I've seen a lot of people post that on Facebook, and I totally agree with it. And I think Central have never beat them before, but I think they're there. If that game's played anywhere else, I take Central any day by 15.
Yeah.
If it's played anywhere else,
I agree. And Belfry, it surprised me that they held the Dalton kid under his average. They held him to 36 last night. So but I think with the combination of the Mingo, Central destroying the rivalries and kids these days, they don't play multi-sports like they used to.
Yeah.
You're a coach and you're a football coach, so you're going to be the perfect one to answer this. I would much rather. Back in the day, everybody, every kid played basketball and football and usually baseball. And nowadays, you don't see kids, like, they're concentrating year-round on football. Going to camps all year round. And, later on in their college careers and NFL careers, you see them getting hurt a lot more. And I think that has to do with kids not playing multi-sports, because when you play basketball, it teaches you footwork and, just different positions. So, you know, a lot of coaches steer their players away from playing basketball and stuff, but I think it's a huge plus to play multi-sports, don't you?
Yeah, I'm a big advocate of everybody playing multiple sports, which I'm at a single A school, which is very important for our kids to play every sport because we don't have a lot of kids. And, you know, and even with that being said, why not play other sports? Because you don't know what that sport's going to do. For example, you know, I ran track. Kentucky actually seen me running track. Auburn actually seen me running track, you know, and I got offers from them, and I was just running track, you know, and you never know, you never know what can happen within that sport, and you know, you never ever be scared to just, you know, to get hurt because you can walk outside and twist an ankle or break an ankle or whatnot. But, you know, I'm a big advocate of my players playing multiple sports, and I push it. You know, I really push it. Push that.
Well, you never know. This kid could spend, you know, all this time one of these football camps and stuff, and his calling could have been basketball, you know. So he can miss out, you know, just because he's concentrating on one sport, you know. And, you know, when it comes to basketball, it breaks my heart because when you drive around this area, man, they used to be every ball court around here, man.
Yeah.
Down here at the Winston swimming pool, the cage, man, that was some of the best basketball I ever played there. So, you know, that right there was, you know, between the combinations of all of it, I think that's all got to do with the basketball not being played around here. And one other thing is, you know, soccer come along, you know, since then. And with soccer, you know, I don't know much about soccer, but I do know that it brought something that I'm totally against, and that's participation trophies.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
yeah, I don't believe in that.
Yeah. Now, when you get to participation trophies, you know, I don't understand, you know, you got parents, everybody's for it because they want their kid getting trophies.
Right.
You know, they're wanting, you know, come whenever their kid goes off to college, you look in their bedroom and you see all the trophies. But I think that it causes you not to get the best out of your kid because, you know, they don't have a reason, to, you know, to bust their tail to get that trophy.
Yeah, you know, like, you know, my opinion on that is, if a kid is playing a sport, and I don't care if it's football, and in my situation, football, I'm gonna teach this kid about life. Okay, you know, that's how Coach Haywood always coached me. That's how, you know, he coaches coaches. I'm gonna teach a kid about life. I'm gonna teach a kid, you know, you gotta work for what you do. You know, anybody on my football team, they know they're gonna work for that position.
Yep.
You know, it's not given. It's not given at all. And once you give kids a participation trophy or just to come out, now youth league, like small kids, that's every bit of it. I agree with that, but you're starting to see a lot
I
of
don't like that.
You don't, well...
No, but because that's starting them out at a young age, teaching them kids, you know, that I can just show up and goof off. And, you know, I went to my little niece's soccer practice, and I see kids over there, you know, just not even minding what the coach is doing, kicking balls and everything. You know, just sitting there, you know, bull cracking with each other. And that right there, they're not even paying attention to the coach, but yet come the end of the year, they're getting a trophy, you know, to put on there. And I don't think that's right. I think the kids that earned it, that busted their tail, put in the time and the work, I think they're the ones that should, you know, get the trophies. And it causes them other kids, you know, yeah, I mean, they might be jealous of the other kids, but it causes your kid to work harder, and you will get the best out of your kid with that. You know, I don't like them at all.
Well, I think there's an age limit to that. And when I say that, you know, you don't, at a young age, like, you know, you got kindergarten, Head Start, you're teaching those kids. Now, I'm going to give them a trophy. They don't understand. They're not developed yet. Now, once they coming up at a certain age, you know, that's when your coaches need to start developing them. You know, that's why you have your youth leagues. That's when you have your midget league. That's whenever they come to middle school. By the time they get to middle school, they should already understand it's not participation. You know, they're going to work for everything they get. But they're going to understand at a young age, you know, if you give two kids a sucker and then you don't give these two, man, they're going to break their heart.
Yeah.
And that's every bit of, you know, and no, it's not teaching them nothing at all, but, you know, at that small of age, I think coaches need to just teach the kids, you know, as they go up. There's a track at everything they do.
I agree 100%. And one person that definitely earned his participation trophy was Deshaun Watson the other night.
Oh,
did you get to watch the national championship?
Yeah, I did. I am an SEC biased guy. I admit it. And I was pulling for Alabama. I'm from West Virginia. Nick Saban's from Fairmont, West Virginia. So I was pulling for Nick regardless. I did it every time they've been in it. But I mean, Deshaun is really the real Heisman Trophy winner. I know that for a fact.
He was 36 56, 420 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 67.1 QBR. And I mean, it was amazing. And I actually thought that Jalen Hurt was going to be, the one that was going to go off in that game. And he was 13 for 31, 131 yards and a touchdown. I mean,
they blamed it on Kiffin. I really don't understand. You can't blame that on Kiffin, and y'all can comment on this, but you can't blame that on Kiffin. When you got a coach like Nick Saban. I'm sorry. That's like saying assistant coach stepped down. Well, that's like saying this. I left from Belfry and Belfry's not going to be anything anymore. Look, they won a state championship. Why? They have Philip Haywood. That's the Nick Saban of high school football. I mean that's the thing, and you just.
I agree.
It don't matter. They've been running them plays all year.
Yeah, and Lane Kiffin was already, he was transitioning to other jobs, so I'm sure the players knew, what was going on there, and so I don't think it had anything to do with Kiffin. It just they got outplayed.
Clemson came to play,
and I tell you, man, that I grew to like, and that was Dabo Swinney. That man, I think, he might be the man to take Saban's job after Saban leaves.
Yeah,
Alabama, man.
I can see that, and he went to Alabama. He shared a story on that. I think I watched last night. I watched a little story he had on there. About when he went to Alabama, he didn't have enough money. He come home and there was like a check in the mail or whatnot, or some program and stuff, and it was a pretty interesting story. But one thing I love about him, he's every bit of a God first man, and he don't care to speak it on anything, and he get a lot of backslash from that and stuff, and he speaks on a lot of issues in America, and he's still doing what he's doing, and that takes a lot of guts from a man to do that.
Yeah, and I hated seeing. Bo Scarborough, man, that dude is a monster, man.
Yes.
And I hated seeing him get hurt. He still had 161 yards. I'm trying to think. I think he had 2 touchdowns.
He had 2
whenever
touchdowns.
He got hurt.
Yeah.
And it surprised me because I thought that Kentucky boy, Damian Harrison, I thought he would step right in. And Harrison only had 5 carries for 24 yards in that game. And it really, I think that was the difference in the game there.
It was.
But I tell you, another one that's going to be playing in the NFL is Mike Williams.
Oh yeah.
And the Hunter Renfrow kid. If you could see him on any team, who is it?
Philadelphia Eagles.
That kid is a patriot, man.
Philadelphia Eagles.
That kid is a Belichick man.
Philadelphia Eagles, we need you.
Y'all need a lot. Y'all need a lot more than him. And the Bama receiver, O.J. Howard, he had 4 receptions for 106 yards. I mean,
and he did good too. I mean, they just. The receivers got open. The ball was overthrown. I mean, the freshman showed in the national championship, and the junior, he showed up. He was in the game last year, so he was ready to go.
And I think that Swinney is. I don't think Clemson's going to be back there next year because between what they lost last year and what they've lost this year, I think I don't think they're quite to the Ohio State and the Alabama where they can just reload. I think that they're going to have to start. It'd be 3-4 years before we see them back. I think.
Yeah, I know they got a nice little class coming in, which I know Belfry played against one of their guys this year, and he had a nice little game. It's Amari Rogers, a receiver, 4-star receiver. He committed to, and he was committed
I thought he was
to
going Notre Dame.
No, he was committed to USC, and then he decommitted and went to. He decommitted and went to Clemson. Yeah, so he's unbelievable. Actually, I know the kid personally. T. Martin, quarterback, won a national championship with Tennessee. That's his stepfather. And when T. Martin was at UK, I used to help UK at the football camps, and this kid was there, and I'm like, who is this cat?
Oh, Rogers did
Yes.
Belfry up,
Yes,
man.
yes, he did.
I've never seen anybody do that right there to Belfry's defense.
Yes, he did.
And, you know, Belfry had one of them games, you know, that they seem to have every year, where it's like, you know, the Cattle Midland game. We ended up getting killed by Cattle Midland because we had a bad game. And I think it's all because of the rain.
Yeah.
You know, both games, you know, I think the weather had a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
But the, you know, like I said, Alabama will be there next year, Clemson won't. But, you know, on that note, I say we're going to take a break. And coming up, we got a surprise for y'all. We got the code train coming in. We'll be right back with Joe Hunt. Is it in?